Hello, I am Vijayendra Reddy, Current Affairs faculty. Today we will discuss the current affairs which happened from October 1st to 10th, 2017. First we start with national affairs. Here, first we will start with Madurai Meenakshi Temple. Madurai Meenakshi Temple has been declared as the cleanest iconic place by the Government of India under the Swachh Bharat mission. On October 2nd, 2017, Madurai Meenakshi Temple, which is an icon, which is a very historic place, is declared as the cleanest iconic place. It beat out Taj Mahal, which is in Agra, Tirupati Temple in Andhra Pradesh, and Golden Temple in Amritsar, and won the cleanest iconic place award. This historic Meenakshi Temple is located on the banks of the river Vaigai in Madurai in Tamil Nadu. This temple is dedicated to Meenakshi, the incarnation of goddess Parvati, and her consort Sundareshwar, who is the form of Lord Shiva. And this temple is considered to be more than 2000 years old. So this is absolutely important for your exam. So which place or which temple is declared as the cleanest iconic place under the Swachh Bharat Abhiyan? Your answer must be Madurai Meenakshi Temple. Then we will move to Justice G. Rohini. The President of India, Ramnath Kovind, has appointed a commission to examine the subcategorization of other backward classes or OBCs. And this commission will have 5 members and it will be headed by Justice G. Rohini, former Chief Justice of Delhi High Court. President Ramnath Kovind has appointed this commission to look into this subcategorization of other backward classes under Article 340 of the Indian Constitution. Justice G. Rohini is from Andhra Pradesh and she is the first ever woman Chief Justice of Delhi High Court. Next we will go to another very important woman, Soumya Swaminathan. Soumya Swaminathan has been appointed as the Deputy Director General of World Health Organization in October 2017. Soumya Swaminathan is a pediatrician, that means a children's specialist, and she is currently the Director General of ICMR, Indian Council of Medical Research. She is none other than the daughter of the great agricultural scientist Dr. M. S. Swaminathan, and we all know that Dr. M. S. Swaminathan is the father of Green Revolution in India. If Norman Borlaug is the father of Green Revolution all over the world, it is M. S. Swaminathan who is considered as the father of the Green Revolution in India. And this WHO, World Health Organization, is headquartered in Geneva. Geneva is in Switzerland. And WHO current Director General is Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus, and he is from Ethiopia. So all these points are very important. So who is the first Indian woman to become the Deputy Director General of World Health Organization? Then your answer is Soumya Swaminathan. Then Prime Minister Narendra Modi has recently laid the foundation stone of All India Institute of Medical Sciences, AIIMS, in Bilaspur, which is in Himachal Pradesh. And Bilaspur is the hometown of the Union Health and Family Welfare Minister J.P. Nadda. Continuing with the Prime Minister Narendra Modi, he inaugurated the Golden Jubilee celebrations of the ICSI, Institute of Company Secretaries of India. That means ICSI has completed 50 years of its existence. It is headquartered in New Delhi. Then we will see Rajneesh Kumar. State Bank of India has got a new chairman on October 7th. His name is Rajneesh Kumar. His tenure will be for 3 years. Rajneesh Kumar has replaced Arundhati Bhattacharya, who was the first ever woman chairman or chairperson of India's largest bank, State Bank of India. Rajneesh Kumar joined as a PO, as a probationary officer in SBI in 1980, and he has risen in the ranks and has reached the position of chairman. And SBI is the largest bank in India. It has got nearly 24,000 branches and 2,68,000 employees, and the present chairman is Rajneesh Kumar. And you should also remember Arundhati Bhattacharya for your exam, even though she is no longer the boss of SBI, because only under her tenure, State Bank of India has merged its 5 associate banks and also Bharatiya Mahila Bank, that is total 6 public sector banks were merged in the tenure of Arundhati Bhattacharya. All the 6 banks were merged with SBI on April 1st, 2017. That is this year, a big event has happened. 6 Indian government banks were merged with SBI. Then another very important banking news is, in the first week of October, the RBI Monetary Policy Committee has reviewed the monetary policy, and as per as the latest monetary policy review, the repo rate and reverse repo rate are kept unchanged. That means they are continuing with the same rates. That is, repo rate is 6%, and even reverse repo rate is also kept unchanged at 5.75%. Whereas SLR, statutory liquidity ratio, SLR is cut by 50 basis points. That means from 20% SLR has come down to 19.5%. So, you remember, as per the latest monetary policy review of the RBI, present repo rate is 6%, reverse repo rate 5.75%, and SLR, statutory liquidity ratio, is 19.5%. I will tell more about this monetary policy committee. Today, monetary policy committee has 6 members. 3 are from RBI and 3 are from outside RBI, who are appointed by the central government. The 3 RBI members are Urjit Patel is the RBI governor, and he will be the chairman of this monetary policy committee. And the other 2 members from RBI are Viral Acharya. Viral Acharya is one of the 4 deputy governors of RBI who is in charge of this monetary policy. And the third person from RBI is its executive director, Michael Patra. So, Urjit Patel, Viral Acharya and Michael Patra, these 3 are from RBI, and the 3 outsiders who are part of this monetary policy committee are Chetan Ghate, Pami Dua and Ravindra Dholakia. So, these 6 make the present monetary policy committee of the Reserve Bank of India. Then recently the Forbes magazine has released the list of 100 richest Indians, and the list is topped once again by none other than the chairman of the Reliance Industries Limited, Mukesh Ambani. In fact, he has topped the Forbes magazine's list of the richest Indians for the 10th consecutive years. For the 10th consecutive year, he has topped the list. And his wealth is, as per this Forbes magazine, $38 billion, $38 billion, which is equivalent to, in Indian currency, 2,50,000 crore rupees. So, that is the wealth of India's richest person, Mukesh Ambani. And in this list, the second place is occupied by tech tycoon Azim Premji. Azim Premji is the founder of Wipro, a very big IT company. So, topper is Mukesh Ambani, second place is occupied by Azim Premji. Among the Indian women, Savitri Jindal is the richest Indian woman. Savitri Jindal is the chairperson of OP Jindal Group, and her net worth is $7.5 billion. She is the richest Indian woman, and overall her position is 16th. Then we'll go and we'll talk about 3 summits. One is that happened in October 2017, that is India Economic Summit. This India Economic Summit was organized by World Economic Forum in collaboration with CII, Confederation of Indian Industry, and it took place in New Delhi. Another very big summit that was organized in New Delhi in October 2017 is India European Union Summit. So, this India European Union Summit or India EU Summit is held annually, and this 14th India EU Summit was organized in New Delhi on October 6, 2017. India was represented by the Prime Minister Narendra Modi, and European Union was represented by the European Council President Donald Tusk and the European Commission President Jean-Claude Juncker. And these leaders have discussed in detail so many things, which include Rohingya crisis and also the situation in the Korean Peninsula. And after their deliberations, they have signed on 3 pacts or 3 agreements, which includes one on International Solar Alliance, ISA, International Solar Alliance. So, what is this European Union? I will tell briefly. European Union is a group of 28 European countries, which is headquartered in Brussels. Brussels is the capital of Belgium. And last year something very big thing happened, that Britain has voted in favor of exiting from European Union, which is called as Brexit. Remember, Britain has so far not exited, but they have voted in favor of leaving European Union. Probably next year Britain will leave European Union, but as on today European Union, which is headquartered in Brussels, has 28 members. Then we will see another summit, but that summit will happen next month in Hyderabad, and that summit is GES, Global Entrepreneurship Summit. This is going to be the 8th annual Global Entrepreneurship Summit, which will be held from November 28th to 30th in Hyderabad. And Indian delegation will be led by the Prime Minister Narendra Modi himself will inaugurate this summit, and the American delegation will be led by Ivanka Trump. Ivanka Trump is not only the President Donald Trump's daughter, but also she is advisor to the American President, and she will lead American delegation to Hyderabad. And the theme for this Global Entrepreneurship Summit is Women First, Prosperity for All. Women First, Prosperity for All. So, we can guess that here the main focus will be on supporting women entrepreneurs. So, this is a very big news. Hyderabad is going to host the Global Entrepreneurship Summit, where people from more than 160 countries, particularly CEOs and other big people, will participate in this Global Entrepreneurship Summit. Then we will see 2 committees. One is a committee formed by SEBI, Securities and Exchange Board of India. Several months back, SEBI has formed a committee on corporate governance under the chairmanship of Uday Kotak. Uday Kotak is the boss, is the managing director of Kotak Mahindra Bank. And in October 2017, this Uday Kotak led SEBI committee has submitted its report, and the key recommendations include there should be a minimum of 6 directors on the boards of these listed companies, and out of these 6 directors, 3 must be independent directors, and there must be 1 woman independent director. Then another key recommendation is the board meetings should be organized at least 5 times in a year, and the roles of chairman and managing director of companies should be separated. So, these are the key recommendations of SEBI committee on corporate governance, which was chaired by Uday Kotak, who is Kotak Mahindra Bank Managing Director. Then there is one more committee, and this committee is appointed by the Government of India for proper management of water resources in the northeastern region of India. So, the chairman of this committee on water management in northeastern region of India is Niti Aayog Vice Chairman Rajiv Kumar. So, Niti Aayog Vice Chairman Rajiv Kumar is the chairman of this committee for water management in northeastern states. So, this is another latest committee which is absolutely important for your exam. Then in October 2017, the President of India, Ramnath Kovind, went on his first ever foreign trip after assuming office of the President of India, and the first country he visited is Djibouti in Africa. He visited two countries, both are in Africa, both are in Eastern Africa. One is Djibouti and the other is Ethiopia. So, this is absolutely very important, which is the first ever country that was visited by the President of India, Ramnath Kovind, after he has taken office. The answer should be Djibouti, which is a small country in Africa. And later he visited Ethiopia also. And this is the, and Ramnath Kovind is the first ever Indian president to visit this small African country called Djibouti. So, this is also very, very important fact. And Djibouti is in the news recently for another very important reason, because China has set up its first ever overseas military base in Djibouti. So, China's first ever overseas, that means foreign military base, is in an African country called Djibouti. And finally, in our national affairs, we see an award which is called as Anna Politkovskaya Award. I am repeating, Anna Politkovskaya Award. This award is named after a Russian female journalist, Anna Politkovskaya, who was killed in Moscow in the year 2006, and this award is given to eminent journalists and social activists. And in October 2017, this award was announced to Indian journalist Gauri Lankesh posthumously, that means after her death. And we know that Gauri Lankesh, who is an eminent journalist, was shot dead by unidentified gunmen on September 5th, 2017, that is last month, in Bangalore, and she was awarded this Anna Politkovskaya Award. And this award she will share, in fact, with another, of course, she is given posthumously, and another co-recipient is there, and another co-recipient is a Pakistani woman. Her name is Gulala Ismail. So, Gulala Ismail is fighting against extremism in Pakistan. She is the co-recipient of this year's Anna Politkovskaya Award, along with India's Gauri Lankesh. And Gauri Lankesh is given this award posthumously. So, these are the important national affairs that happened from October 1st to 10th.